Welcome to the Pearls Hexagons Coaching Exploration submodule. This is part 1 of Module 2-3, brought to you by Think.Thrive Academy. We are excited to have you back. In this Pearls Exploration Module 2-3, Part 1, we will do a deep dive into the Pearls Hexagons and learn each letter of the acronym PEARLS. At the end of this lesson, you will be able to use the Pearls hexagons to plan your coaching conversation to gain mastery as a workplace coach. We referenced the Pearls coaching framework in Module 1 and highlighted that the acronym PEARLS stands for Purpose, Experience, Attitude, Resilience, Liveness and Learning, and also Step Out. Specifically, we will dwell into each of these 6 aspects, which we will be introducing to you here. The visual for pearls is a hexagon-shaped diagram, which will come in handy when we integrate it with the pearls quartz and the pearls phases later in this module. The pearls hexagons provides a frame to engage coachees in the pearls instance phase. This is an exploration to enlarge and re-engineer the mind in order to thrive and create pearls of lasting value. In the coaching context, P stands for creating purpose and meaning. E stands for building expertise from experience. A stands for changing attitudes and mindsets. R is about increasing resilience. L is about flexibility, letting go, and learning anew. S is stepping out and fulfilling dreams. Throughout this submodule, we will be referencing this Pearls Hexagons frame. This is a visual that radiates outwards from the core Pearls components to what aspects of coaching it may impact, and finally towards the application to a coachee's life and work. The Pearls Hexagons provides the frame for the workplace coach to engage in the experiential participation using the Pearls Quartz skills. This is about using the 737 skills in the context of each side of the hexagon. For example, the coach might use the Ask skill with reference to the coachee's best experience in leading teams and drawing out the strengths that have served them. What is the intent of the Pearls hexagons? The goal of achieving mastery in the Pearls hexagons is for coaches to extend their coaching range. As workplace leaders, you have a natural orientation and are good at using skills across a segment of this coaching range. This may show up, for instance, in your ability to have coaching conversations on exploring topics on workplace satisfaction and strengths. This traverses the purpose and experience hexagons. That is a good start. When you are able to go beyond mastery in these 2 hexagons, this will open up further coaching possibilities and allow you to develop wider competence and give voice for a fuller expression of your coaching style. For example, if you sense that your coaching approach is serious and heavy going, consider how you can stretch to bring playfulness into the heaviness. You could also think about it using this analogy. Say you are learning to play the violin and can now play tunes in the initial first position. When you gain experience and mastery, you will learn to shift into third, fifth, and other positions, which will enable you to play a lot more tunes because you can now access more musical notes which cannot be done using just the first position. This, similarly, is how it will be like when you gain greater range and become a master of the full Pearls hexagons. We will go through each side of the hexagon in this submodule and provide a comprehensive case study to allow you to assimilate this coaching framework at the end of this module. Let us start with the purpose hexagon. The purpose conversation is usually one that is taken very early on in coaching because it provides a signpost that answers the question, why? Although the coach usually does not start by asking the coachee, "Why do you want to be coached?" it nevertheless is a very fundamental question that needs to be answered in the course of the initial discovery process. With clarity of purpose, the coach can move on to what then lies ahead and what results does the coachee want. Hence, prospection and vision conversations provide journey markers, compass, map, and destination. Passion is what gives energy for motivation and action. Here, the discovery takes the coachee down a path as to what they are passionate about, and specifically in workplace coaching, what is the underlying motivator that is generating the drive for your coachee to go to work every day. Fulfillment is about what gives joy and satisfaction to your coachee. What is fulfilling to one coachee will be different from another. A useful way to think about fulfillment is what is valued by the coachee both for today and every day hereafter. Is the coachee living in a way consistent with their purpose that is in accordance to what they value most on a day to day basis? Is the alignment and orientation similar to that of the organization and on point with what they value? So, fulfillment then becomes an in the moment conversation and not just an elusive idea of the future. Workplace coaches work with coachees on fulfillment for the present, and while achieving goals can be part of this mix, fulfillment is akin to actualizing the self today because it is purpose driven. Hence, fulfillment is about being wholly alive and expressing who you are as a full human being and doing what is right in every situation. In workplace coaching, we can link fulfillment to life purpose when we approach it from an exploration with the coachee on what they really want, what they wish to create within their team, and the work life they want to have. There are a number of ways to uncover your coachee's life purpose. Visualization is one method, and we will explore this in Module 3. For now, it is perfectly all right to ask the question outright, as follows: Coachee, what is your purpose in life? Followed by, Coachee, how would you rate your current alignment to your life purpose on a scale of 1 to 10, where 1 is disarray and 10 is perfect alignment? The experience hexagon is an uplifting part of the Pearls instance. Here, the coach is free to explore the full range of experiences with the coachee, starting always with the positive. The coach can use the appreciative inquiry process to facilitate this conversation and mainly focus on the discovery and dream aspects. Appreciative uses a strength based inquiry approach with open ended questions to create a safe space for co creation. In discovery, for instance, the idea is to dive below the surface of an iceberg to uncover what is truly core to the individual. It can start with a brief take on purpose, but should get quickly into narration. The coach can encourage the coachee to tell the most memorable stories of their best experience about the topic and relive what it felt like when needs were being met. From the past, the coach can take the coachee to envision an ideal of the present or future. It is an exploration of what it can be. Remember that in order to do this effectively, one needs to use both the left and right brain in order not just to analyze, but to conjure imageries and stories. For the coachee, the question might be, what does their best self look like? A powerful inquiry approach is to use questions like, if you had a magic wand, what would that look like? Tap into the positive energy that exudes from the experience to self efficacy and boost energy to activate that which truly excites and is important to self. And by extension, in workplace coaching, draw a link to the organization. The coach can also use geography, which means what is available in the environment, and physicality, which is the physical embodiment of the experience, so that the experience takes on a whole being coaching, which would be more powerful than if it was just a mind exercise. For the experienced coach, we can include all aspects of our humanity: heart, mind, body, and spirit. We can also include the many roles a person may have. For example, one person may be all of the following: manager, parent, business partner, artist, and provider. People are longing for wholeness and full expression of themselves in every facet of who they are, what they are about, and all they do. While the starting point is workplace coaching, do not be afraid to step out if your coachee is prepared to dive deeper. Just relax and follow their leading. Allow the coachee to exercise their creativity and dance in the moment with them. This is back to the concept of flow, where coach and coachee to engage each other with deep curiosity, awareness, and presence, letting go of limiting thoughts, strategies, attachments, and assumptions about the past or the future. With clarity of purpose and positive energy channeling into a story that depicts a best possible scenario for the coachee, the experience hexagon can be a high point for any coaching conversation. With greater positive reinforcement over time of these experiences, the coachee is also building expertise toward achieving the best version of self in the best possible scenario. We now move to the attitude hexagon. You may have heard a maxim that states, "Your altitude depends on your attitude," attributed to Zig Ziglar. In this respect, coaching can and has the power to enable coachees to break free from their attitudinal constraints as they move towards their best version of self. Let us first unpack how attitudes are formed. One theory advocates it all starts with experience, and that an attitude emerges due to direct personal encounters or resulting from observation. When someone sees or feels something, they begin to attach meaning to that experience, which could be shaped by prior personal understanding or cultural influence. Thereafter, one begins to make assumptions about the whys and wherefores of the topic and draw conclusions about that topic. Assumptions create the conditions that allow an individual to pronounce judgment about that topic, which gets ingrained in the mind that this is my way of thinking and feeling about this topic. Over time, a belief system may be formed to justify this held attitude that has been adopted. When this has been reinforced over time, it is no wonder that attitudes, and what we term as mindsets, are so hard to change. In Pearl, Dr. Henry Toy explains that individuals will make up their own excuses and rely on held biases to ground themselves in their version of truth. To paraphrase Peter Senge, this process looks something like this: the observations I make are based on real data. My belief is founded on irrefutable and observable facts. The truth is obvious. My belief is the truth.